From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. A dangerous and fast-moving wildfire situation is unfolding across the southeastern portion of the U.S. as drought, critically low humidity, and gusty winds combine to create some of the most severe fire conditions the region has seen in decades. For the past few weeks, Florida has been at the epicenter of the wildfire activity. In Gainesville, 2 separate wildfires erupted on Sunday, forcing evacuations across multiple neighborhoods. Smoke blanketed the University of Florida campus. Just northeast of Gainesville, the Florida Forest Service combined the Cruz Road fire in Clay County with the Railroad Complex fire in Putnam County into a single incident after a blaze burned an estimated 2,700 acres with minimal containment. The fires forced Amtrak to halt some train routes and shut down tracks near DeLand in Volusia County for hours. Crews deployed 15 firefighting tractor plow units to establish fire breaks, and air tankers and helicopters were called in for fire retardant and water drops. In Putnam County alone, 4 separate fires were burning simultaneously, including one that reached 1,000 acres and forced voluntary evacuations along rural roads near Bostwick, the Putnam County Sheriff's Office reported. These fires are not isolated flare-ups. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, 99% of Florida was in drought by mid-February, with more than 70% of the state classified as extreme drought or worse by late March. Across the state, major fires are burning from the Panhandle to South Florida, including a 35,000-acre blaze in Collier counties, Big Cypress National Preserve, and a roughly 8,600-acre fire spanning Okeechobee and Glades counties. The growing wildfire danger extends across the southeast as well. In Georgia, the Georgia Forestry Commission reports firefighters have been battling an average of 40 wildfires per day, with more than 20,500 acres burned statewide so far this year. Key fires are burning near the Florida-Georgia line in Clinch County, near West Point and Troup County, and in Tatnall and White counties, some exhibiting extreme fire behavior, including long-range spotting and wind-driven runs. Wildfire smoke is degrading air quality in southern Georgia and parts of the Florida Panhandle. Unhealthy air quality levels were recorded near Brunswick on Monday. Southeast Alabama came under a fire weather watch on Sunday as a cold front pushed relative humidity into the 15 to 20% range, with winds gusting around the region. Forecasters are warning that any fires ignited under such conditions, they could spread rapidly and become difficult to contain. The watch area also covered parts of the Florida Panhandle and southwestern Georgia. Now, climate scientists are warning that rising temperatures are making droughts like this more frequent and more destructive. According to Climate Central, as global temperatures rise, the atmosphere becomes increasingly thirsty, pulling more water from soils, streams, and vegetation, which causes or worsens drought and directly fuels wildfire risk. Climate researchers also say that heat-trapping pollution from human activity is intensifying this atmospheric demand for moisture, making drought conditions more severe, even when rainfall totals are not dramatically below normal. The relentless rise in greenhouse gas emissions is reshaping the dynamics of drought and its downstream effects on ecosystems and fire behavior. The National Interagency Fire Center has issued a fuels and fire behavior advisory for the entire Southeast, noting that drought-stressed vegetation from the southern Appalachians to the coastal plain has reached historically dry levels. The NIFC projects above normal wildfire risk for Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas through at least May. With no significant rain in the immediate forecast, officials across the region are urging residents to avoid any outdoor burning and to clear dry vegetation around their homes. Well, on the opposite end of that spectrum, flooding sent giant chunks of ice into Michigan homes last week after record snowfall melt and rounds of heavy rain created dangerous flooding around the Great Lakes. The statewide flooding dashboard from the Michigan Police showed 40 counties under a state of emergency and road closures due to flooding at dozens of locations. Insult was then added to injury on Black Lake Sunday as huge blocks of ice buoyed by floodwaters smashed into homes. While not technically an ice shove, which happens every winter when wind drives chunks of ice on the shore, this combination proved to be even worse. State officials are asking residents to report damage online after the state was overwhelmed with flooding over the last several weeks. In neighboring Wisconsin, flood warnings and evacuations were issued early last week. The Wolf River at New London also set a new height record Friday morning. Rising floodwaters inundated a Janesville, Wisconsin elementary school, forcing the school to close. Operations at dams upstream from the Sheboygan Dam in Michigan were finally pulled back as the situation stabilized. The dam came within 5.5 inches of overtopping. It was not the only dam threatened by the flooding this month. Homestead Dam in Benzie County nearly failed, causing reinforcement efforts. No casualties have been reported from the floods so far. Most river gauges were falling by Tuesday morning, but several were still above major flood stage in Wisconsin and Illinois. AccuWeather meteorologists say there will be more rain Thursday night into Friday for the flooded areas, with more rain possible next week. That's all for now. You can find more regional forecasts and science-based articles at AccuWeather.com. And for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the free AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day, be weather aware, and I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.